morning, Octorara. My name is Stowe Wilson, Senior Class President of 2026. I would like to welcome our Hall of Fame inductees and their guests, administrators, teachers, and fellow students to the ceremony. This year, I have the honor of opening the 2025 Hall of Fame ceremony. Each year, we hold the ceremony to celebrate the Octorara graduates who have left their mark on our school and community. And their stories are proof of what is possible. As I walk through the halls each day, I can't help but notice the plaques, pictures, and trophies earned by Octorara students who have raised the bar for all of us. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from those whose names and stories fill the halls. These inductees we honor today took what they started Octorara and have gone on to achieve great things for our school, our community, and beyond. Driven by their boldness, resilience, and ambition to make a difference, these Octorara graduates are setting a powerful example through their achievements. As we hear from those being honored today, who were once students like us, let this be a reminder that each brave in this room is offered the same opportunities for success. Embrace these opportunities, work diligently, take risks when new challenges arise, and your future may be filled with success as well. As we prepare to hear inductees' stories, let us remove our hats and please rise for the singing of our national anthem. That was a little shaky. Good. And now, I would like to introduce our first student speaker, Annalisa Griffiths.
Good morning, Brave Nation. My name is Annalisa Griffiths, and I am the Vice President of Student Council. It is my honor to introduce you to the award-winning author and investigative reporter, Miss Christina Marsuik. After graduating class of 2001 at Octorara, Miss Marusik received a Bachelor of Arts and a minor in Social Sciences from Hofstra University in Hampstead, New York. She then moved across the country, attending San Francisco University, and graduated in 2008 with a Master of Fine Arts in Nonfiction Writing. Armed with a wealth of knowledge, Ms. Marusik began work as a freelance journalist, writing hard-hitting articles on LGBTQ+ equality, feminism, social and environmental justice, and politics for news organizations including CNN, Vice, and The Washington Post. She is also the co-founder of the Pittsburgh chapter of the National Association of LGBTQ Journalists. In 2003, her work went beyond the columns with the publication of her book, A New War on Cancer, The Unlikely Heroes Revolutionizing Prevention, which details the growing movement to prevent cancer by reducing everyday exposures to harmful chemicals. Now you can find her work on Environmental Health News, where she investigates and reports on issues related to environmental health and justice. This work has won her a Science Communicator Award from the Carnegie Science Center and a Michelle Madoff Award of Environmental Excellence from the Group Against Smog and Pollution. Ms. Marusik has seen so much of the world and continues to impact all the places she's been. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Christina Marusik back to Octorara.
Thank you. Now, later. Hi, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It's so nice to be back here for the first time in a long time and to see you all. I've done a lot of public speaking to promote my book over the last few years, but none of that has made me as nervous as addressing an auditorium full of high school students. Probably because when I was where you are now, I was always trying to make my friends laugh by cracking jokes about the speakers. So I don't deserve this, but please be nice to me. I want to say two things about achieving success. First, it's okay if you have no idea what you want to do for a living yet. And second, your generation will have to redefine what success means anyway. I was a student here when a teacher told me for the first time that my opinions about what was happening in the adult world mattered. And not only did my opinions matter, but that I also had a responsibility to name injustice when I saw it and to do my best to leave the world a better place. That teacher, by the way, was Mr. Udell, who I see over there. Can we just get a very quick round of applause for Mr. Udell? Mr. Udell truly understood the assignment when it came to being a good teacher. But in high school and well beyond, I had no idea what I wanted to do for a job. I knew I wanted to write, and I knew I wanted to make the world better. When I started college in New York, the US started a war with Iraq, and while I was studying writing, I helped organize a campus-wide walkout the first day the bombs fell. My friends and I almost got expelled for that, but the walkout made the local news, and then it made the national news because we weren't alone. Students all across the country walked out of class that day to protest the start of the war. That experience taught me a lot about the power of organizing and also the importance of the media, but it still took me another decade to figure out that I wanted to be a journalist. When I finished college, I moved to San Francisco and got a Master's of Fine Arts degree in nonfiction writing. It made me a much better writer, but I still had no idea how to make a living with that degree, so I did all kinds of other jobs while I was writing and doing activism in my spare time. I managed a fancy salon and spa so I could get free haircuts, massages, and pedicures, and that was awesome. I highly recommend it as a part-time job with great benefits. I wanted to live abroad, so I moved to Taiwan for a year to teach English, and I traveled all over Southeast Asia. And I worked as an assistant for a lawyer who let me try my hand at drafting legal documents, which taught me that I definitely did not want to become a lawyer. I was 31 years old when I published my first piece of journalism with MTV News, and I started working as a freelance journalist while I was also working full-time doing communications for a startup. It took me about 3 years to make investigative reporting my full-time job. Since then, I've written for CNN, Women's Health, and the Washington Post. I've appeared on TV, and I've been a guest on a whole bunch of podcasts. I published a book, and I've given talks to many groups, including the United States Environmental Protection Agency. So all of that is just to reassure you that it's okay if you're graduating this year and you still have no idea what you want to do for a job. You should go out and try some stuff and learn as much as you can about whatever interests you the most. Start doing what you can to make the world a better place and have some big adventures, because experiencing the world more will help you find your way, and it'll also make it clear what the world needs most from you. I said that your generation will have to redefine success, and that's because success will have to look different in a world where authoritarianism is on the rise and American democracy is under threat, where climate change is increasing, wildfires, hurricanes, and droughts, and where AI is likely to replace a lot of the entry-level jobs your parents might have envisioned for you. Not to be a downer. Big yikes. These challenges are unique, but every generation faces its own hardships. Working as a journalist is fulfilling for me because I get to shine a light on problems that desperately need to be fixed. But what we also need right now, more than ever, are people who can look beyond the problems we're facing today and draw up the blueprints for a better future. Your path to achieving success will require looking beyond the confines of your own lives and your own career paths. Your success will have to include figuring out how to use the powerful new technologies at our fingertips to solve the problems we're facing and to make the world more just, equitable, and prosperous for everyone. So don't let anyone tell you that your optimism or your hunger for more fairness in the world are naive or foolish, because they're actually your greatest strengths, and they're what the world needs most right now. The version of success that you all create will define our collective future, so please be brave and let the health of our shared world be the true measure of your success. No pressure, though. Thank you. Thanks again.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bridget Whitfield, your Student Council President, and I'm honored to welcome back an Octorara graduate who has dedicated his career to public service and government, Mr. Jordan Ritchie. After graduating from Octorara in 2001, Mr. Ritchie studied political science at the University of Pennsylvania with minors in history, sociology, and American studies. He later earned a master's degree in government with a focus on homeland security and law and justice from Johns Hopkins University. Before completing his graduate studies, he began his federal career as a diplomatic security service officer for the U.S. Department of State, where he coordinated presidential visits, analyzed criminal intelligence, and protected American dignitaries, earning multiple certificates of appreciation along the way. His career in intelligence expanded as he served as a watch officer at the White House Situation Room and held roles analyzing and sharing critical intelligence. He eventually became the director of U.S. Intelligence Operations Center, where his leadership earned him awards such as the Special Act Award and Manager of the Year. Today, Mr. Ritchie is the Senior Advisor for Civil Liberties, Privacy, and Transparency at the U.S. Department of the Treasury, where he works to balance national security with protecting the privacy and the rights of the American people. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jordan Ritchie.
Good morning, Octorara. How is everyone? Good. Who's already listened to The Life of a Showgirl? Show of hands. I won't tell your teachers, I promise. Like 5 of you? It's good to be back. I haven't been here in 20 years. It feels weird, but it feels great. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, the school board, the faculty, the staff, administration, and of course you, the students, for this tremendous honor. And thank you to my support base who are here with me today, my wife Teresa, my daughter Harper, my buddy Travis who drove up from DC, my friend Crystal who I graduated with, who was also my girlfriend in 8th grade for 2 days, and those, she broke up with me after 2 days, and those watching on the live stream. To my fellow inductees, it is an honor standing beside you today. I would like to particularly thank the teachers and coaches who had a direct and profound impact on my life. To Mr. Udell and Mr. Kulikowski, if you're watching, I can unequivocally say I would not be where I am today had it not been for you, your classes, and the lessons you taught both in and outside the classroom. I am forever in your debt. I'd be remiss if I also didn't mention Coach Ray Wessner, who was my basketball coach and was on me like flies on you-know-what. Coach Lambert, who's still around, still love to see the Braves still doing well in basketball. Coach Weaver, Coach Peterson, and Mr. Chippendale, among others I know I'm forgetting. I can stand before you today very honored and very humbled. I remember sitting in those seats literally 25 years ago, attending this annual event as a student, also cracking jokes, but also admittedly grateful that I was out of class for an hour, which I know you guys will always appreciate. But also wondering what it would be like to be on this stage one day. I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty cool. I also hate public speaking. I've done my fair share over the years, but it is a little different speaking in front of your former high school. In accepting this honor, I've been asked to provide a few remarks on achieving success, but I am not too boomer or out of touch to realize that today is indeed Taylor Swift album release day, and that I am part of a cavalcade of speeches that is holding you up from listening to it for a second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe first time. So I promise this particular era will not be too long. So with that said, what is success? Well, to be honest with you, as a previous speaker said, I can't define that for you. Success means different things to different people. Is it a high-class rank? Is it getting inducted into your high school's Hall of Fame? Is it earning a high salary, running your own business, or owning a huge house? Is it athletic prowess or an Olympic medalist? Is it simply finding a spouse and having children? Could it be getting likes on Instagram or a follow from a famous person? Is it leaving an indelible mark on students you taught over the years? Again, I can't answer that for you. But what I can do is tell you how I got to where I am today, and you can decide whether or not that constitutes success and if my advice is worth listening to. So I'm going to start my remarks by asking a rhetorical question. Who killed Silas Dean and who cares? Only one person knows that answer, is probably Mr. Udell. Now, I don't know who killed Silas Dean, and frankly, I don't remember why we should care. For those of you who don't know, he was a colonial merchant, diplomat, and politician who died under suspicious circumstances in 1789. But that is beside the point. I asked that question because that question, that simple but yet very complex question, was very transformative for me, and it led to where I am today. It was the summer going to my junior year here at Octorara, and I had just received my summer assignment from Mr. Udell's AP US history class. At the time, and presumably still the case, if it's still being taught, that was the course, like literally the course, to take if you really wanted to learn how to write and set yourself up for the rigors of college. A push, as we called it, AP USH, which is along with Mr. Udell's AP US Government course, which I understand is not being taught right now, but there's something similar, was Octorara's closest thing to a college prep course. The assignment was that exact question. Who killed Silas Dean and who cares? But it wasn't so much the answer to those two questions, it was how you went about answering them. The thought process, the analytic judgment, the causal reasoning, coupled with how you wrote and then structured your argument. That class, that moment, put me on a path that led me to Penn State for undergrad, Johns Hopkins for grad school, and then as a career intelligence officer at the Department of Treasury, with stops at the White House Situation Room during the Obama administration and at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which is where I currently am. I have represented the US government everywhere from Brazil to Saudi Arabia, Colombia to Kuwait, Pakistan to Belgium, Tampa to Denver, Afghanistan to Germany. Each a far cry from Cockerville, Pennsylvania, and the smell I woke up to this morning. Yet somehow, some way, each was tied to that exact assignment. So how did I get here and why does it matter? Well, I'm not being honored today because I won most sarcastic my senior year. That did happen. Nor am I being honored for losing to Mr. Udell in arm wrestling in front of the whole class. That also happened. And I'm the same size as I was when I graduated, and he smoked me. for the record. It's probably not because I broke the backboard dunking a volleyball in one end of the gym one year, and then the principal at the time made me pay for it. And it's not because I broke the rim at the other end a different year on probably my best high school dunk while I was here. And it's sure not because Mr. Dietering, the superintendent at the time, caught wind that I, yours truly, was going to host the after prom party my senior year and then told my mother about it. You can imagine how that went over. I mention all of that, as you can see, because no one is perfect, life is long and circuitous, and we are all fallible. We all face headwinds and encounter turbulence, but it is how we overcome those challenges that dictates how we fare and ultimately what leads to success. A lot of persistence and a little luck help, but it's a lot more than that. Now, I promised I wouldn't take up too much time, but if you'll indulge me for just a few more moments, I would like to offer some advice based on the things I have learned and picked up along the way. Be curious. Go see the world. Do things. Experience things. Say yes. Travel. Ask questions. Put your phone down and look around. If you go to a class or a meeting with the mentality that you are not the smartest person in the room, even if you are, you will be better for it. I promise. Be present. For many of you, these are the easiest years of your life. Think about it. Dinner's usually made, the internet works, the lights are on, etc., etc. You don't have to do anything. So don't lose sight of that. Some, not all of the friendships that you forge or will forge, that you have forged or will forge within these walls will last a lifetime. Remember that. In May, I spent a week in the Colorado Rockies hiking with a guy I went to both Octorara and Penn State with. Just 2 weeks ago, literally 2 weeks ago, I was in Japan hanging out with a kid that I've known since first grade who lived across the cornfield from me. You don't say that very often. And then just this week, just a few days ago, I wished a former classmate a happy birthday and got to catch up with him. The days are long and the years are short. Don't lose sight of that. Be kind. Kindness goes a long way, a very long way, and it is never too early to realize that. Frankly, I wish I had learned that sooner. Be persistent. I did not have the easiest path here. My father passed away when I was a freshman, the spring of my freshman year, and it wasn't always easy, but hard work, determination, and persistence really, really do pay off. Don't let a little dirt and a few calluses on your hands deter you. Be proud. Coming from this area gives you a different perspective. I live in the DC area now. It is a far cry from southern Chester County and southern Lancaster County. I can count on one hand the number of people I know in the DC area who once showed up for something late because they were stuck behind a horse and buggy on the way. Or that they visited one of their best friends literally by walking through a cornfield. Be proud of that and use that perspective to your advantage. But don't forget that there's a whole wide world out there. At the end of the day, though, in the scheme of things, you're no different than a kid from the Bronx, and you matter. Be a good steward. Be a good steward to your community, to your school, to your country, to the environment. We all have a role. Don't ever lose sight of that. Leave a place better than you found it. So in closing, it doesn't really matter who killed Silas Dean. And again, I don't remember. And I don't remember why we should care. It's the journey that matters, and only you can determine whether you find success at the end of that path. And at the risk of sounding like your parents, which I apologize for, you might not realize it at this moment, but the classes you're taking now and the friendships you're building now might leave an indelible mark on you like they did on me, impacting you in unforeseen ways years down the line. So take a deep breath, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Keep your heads held high, ride the wave where it takes you, and only worry about what you can control. Don't take yourself too seriously, and have a little fun while you're at it. Thank you again for this honor and for keeping the Octorara spirit alive. It's been great reading about and following the successes of the sports teams and fellow alumni. Again, I love watching Coach Lambert's basketball team, and I see some football jerseys in the crowd, which is awesome to see. Didn't have football when I was here. And I will continue to root for you from afar. We are all counting on you, not just because we need you to literally pay for our Social Security in the coming years, but because you're the generation tasked with facing and solving the latest wave of challenges. So until I see you again, in the meantime, Go Braves, go Phils, go Birds, and we are Penn State.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Braden Remfrey. I'm a senior student council, and I'm incredibly honored to be here today, getting to introduct, oh my goodness, one of Octorara's finest, the Octorara High School Hall of Fame, John D. Knox. John's story is one of quiet strength. It's about his dedication, his service, and it all started here in Parksburg Elementary School, before it continued at Octorara Intermediate, and finally, graduation from Octorara High School in 1975. He was one of us, a leader, a scholar, and he became a highly decorated officer in the military. After high school, John went after his love of history and helping others at Cambridge College in Williamsburg, Kentucky. He got a Bachelor of Science in History while becoming a member of Phi Alpha Theta, the History Honor Society. He was also a leader in ROTC. John got a 3-year ROTC scholarship, and by his senior year, he was the Cadet Battalion Commander. This showed the leadership skills that he had, skills that he would employ in his military career. He has been recognized in Who's Who among students in American colleges and universities, and he was named a distinguished military graduate. This led to him being commissioned as a regular Army infantry officer. From then on, John Knox spent 28 years serving in the military. His time in the Army was all about discipline, courage, and growing as a person. He finished some of the toughest training programs, like the Infantry Officer Basic and Advanced Courses, Airborne School, Ranger School, the Combined Armies and Services Staff School, and the Command and A&P General Staff College. John became a lieutenant colonel and won numerous military awards and honors, some of these including 3 Bronze Star medals, 2 for his courage and service in Operation Desert Storm, and 1 for his courage and service in Iraqi freedom, 6 Meritorious Service Medals, 4 Army Commendation Medals, and 2 Army Achievement Medals, along with many campaign and service ribbons to go on top of all of that. After he retired from the military, though, he still supported the nation by working in the defense business and mentoring young people. What makes John Knox so special isn't just medals or big moments. It's that he's always remembered where he came from Octorara hallways to serving our country all over the world. This reflects what the community can inspire. So today, for Octorara Area School District, it's teachers, students, alumni, and community. I'm honored to introduce Lieutenant Colonel John D. Knox into Octorara High School Hall of Fame. Let us welcome someone who did great here and has been a leader his whole life, Lieutenant Colonel John D. Knox.
All right, thank you. Principal Proper, faculty and staff of Octorara student body. I'm both humbled and honored to receive this award, and I also appreciate the ability to talk to you about what I believe might help you with your life after graduation. To put it in perspective, when the senior class graduates next year, our nation will be 250 years old. When you reach full retirement age, our nation will be 300 years old. So you have 50 years of after high school work to do before you enjoy 10 or 15 years of active retirement. So going back to the Declaration of Independence, one aspect of it I want to talk to you about is pursuit of happiness. That's what your time here in high school should be the foundation for deciding how you want to pursue happiness. In police movies, things like that, you always hear they're in hot pursuit. That's because they're going after a specific target. Your target should be what makes you happy. What will make you happy at work? What will make you happy in your social life, in your relationships? And it's defining that happiness is what gives you the opportunity to do right now while you're in high school. You've got teachers, guidance counselor, family, clergy, sports coach, all of them, their happiness when they decide it is to help you succeed. So reach out to them for mentorship and find out what it is you want to do. I'll give a plug here for a diagnostic. I learned this in the Command General Staff College in my early 30s. There's a Myers-Briggs personality diagnostic test. You go online, Google it, it's free. Answer it, there's no trick questions here. Answer it as to how you would prefer life to be. And what it'll do is it'll tell you which one of what Myers-Briggs decides are 16 different personalities. First part is introvert, extrovert, as to how you prefer to be. I'm an introvert, so I don't really enjoy stuff like this, but I became used to it after 28 years in the Army. Now, the second one is you're either intuitive or sensing. If you come up in the intuitive area, you like to imagine the unimaginable. You like to dream. So things in the next field of what is after AI, or actually fine arts, painting, sculptor, or drama and performance, all of that. Sensing, you like to actually work with tactile items. You like to put stuff together. Electrician, carpenter, mechanic, engineer, those type of skills is what makes you happy and comfortable. Next after that is you're either sensing or feeling. Thinking or feeling. Thinking, you're given a problem, you analyze the facts, and you come up with the most practical, efficient solution to that problem and move on. If you have a feeling tendency, as you're confronted with a problem, your focus is on coming up with consensus to try to get everybody to buy into whatever you believe is going to be the ultimate solution. And after you have that consensus and you get to a solution that most people agree on, you go the extra mile to try to address those who didn't agree with you in the first place. And that's what the feeling people are. The final is judging or perceiving. Now, I'd wager about 95% of the honor society out there will fall into the judging category. You like to do stuff on time, at or above standard. You did your homework last night. Now, perceiving, and I was one myself, you're the people who saw you had an assembly this morning. So instead of doing your homework last night, you did something you preferred to do, and right now you're working your homework, and I'll try not to disturb you too much with my talk. But for a perceiver, if it only takes a minute, the last minute's just as good as the first. And that's how the personalities break out. So take a look at that, because what Myers-Briggs does is after that, it'll show you, based on your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, and your opportunities as far as where you might be able to go to achieve your happiness. And they'll break it down as far as happiness in vocation, in social settings, relationships, education. So it's a good grounding tool for yourselves to find out how to move forward after the regimented type of high school classes you get, so that you can decide for yourself how you want to move forward and be happy. Because it's much more fun and rewarding to spend the next 50 years doing something you like rather than doing something you need to do in order to put a roof over your head and enjoy something on the weekends. Now, having said that, what type of happiness do you have out there? What are your opportunities? For people in CTE, you're already about halfway there. You're going down the road properly. I'll put a plug in here is that if after graduation you don't get that job in the first place, you need to have backup plans. One backup plan might be the military. Any type of civilian job out there, believe it or not, beyond infantry, tankers, and artillery, every job is there in the Army if you're qualified for it. Law enforcement, medical, nutrition, mechanics, all of the stuff is out there where after 3 years, you'll be paid as if you were trained. While you're trained, you get 3 hots and a cot, and you have that experience factor to get a job. And I know what I'm speaking about here because you need to have a backup plan. My plan, as was mentioned here, is I wanted to go to West Point and become an officer. I thought, foolishly enough, from 2nd grade to 10th grade, with the Vietnam War going on and becoming increasingly unpopular year after year, that nobody would want to go into West Point. So if I did well on SATs, lettered in a couple sports, and came up with a 2.0 grade point average here at Octorara, I graduated 100th out of 200 people. So, it's possible to move on from that. Unfortunately for me, fortunately for the nation, in 10th grade, President Nixon ended the Vietnam War, and all of a sudden West Point was exceptionally popular again. So fortunately, my backup plan was I'd saved up enough money for 1 year of college that had an ROTC program. So I overloaded the amount of credit hours I took, studied hard, and hoped to prove West Point would take me the second time. If not, apply for a 3-year scholarship, through ROTC. And even another backup plan was, well, we celebrate our 200th anniversary as a nation. I was at Quantico going through the Marine Corps Platoon Leaders course, essentially a boot camp for college kids, because that would pay enough. I could have one more semester of college, and then be able to enlist in the Army, go to OCS, and still recognize my dream. So if your first plan doesn't succeed, it's going to hurt. It'll be painful, and it'll last for a while. But you need to keep moving on to have a second plan, a third plan, and that, again, is where your teachers, your family, your clergy, coaches, all of those people come into play for you, because they will help you achieve your goals, because they've also gone through it, believe it or not. It's going to help you. So I thank you for the time, the opportunity to talk to you guys. I hope you have a good takeaway with this. Again, learn what you want to do for yourself. And I say Myers-Briggs is a good way to do that. Have a good backup plan if at first you don't succeed and you try again. And third, basically, just have fun here like I did. Appreciate your time. Thank you and take care.
All right, Octorara. At this time, if I could please have everyone stand for the playing of our alma mater. Please be seated. I recognize I'm keeping everyone from lunch in just a second, so I'm going to be brief. Good morning, Octorara. Mr. Ritchie, Lieutenant Colonel Knox, Ms. Marusik, Dr. Dukevich, distinguished guests, members of the administrative team, faculty, and students. As principal of Octorara High School, I would like to personally thank you for attending our Hall of Fame assembly. I have just a few brief but pointed remarks to close our ceremony. As we bring this wonderful ceremony to an end, I want to reflect on the remarkable stories we celebrated today. Each of our inductees have shown us that greatness begins right here at Octorara. And from these halls, it can carry into every corner of the world. We celebrated Ms. Christina Marusik, whose voice as an award-winning journalist and author is shaping the national conversation on justice, equality, and environmental health. From our classrooms to CNN, the Washington Post, and her groundbreaking book, she has proven the power of words to bring about change and hope. We heard about Mr. Jordan Ritchie, whose career in intelligence and public service demonstrates the highest level of commitment to protecting our nation and preserving the liberties of its people. His journey from Octorara to the White House Situation Room and the U.S. Treasury reminds us that leadership can be both courageous and principled. And we honored Lieutenant Colonel John D. Knox, whose decades of military service embody sacrifice, courage, and integrity. His leadership through times of conflict, his many decorations, and his lifelong dedication to others illustrate what it truly means to serve with honor. To our students, these inductees were once sitting where you are now. Their success came not overnight, but through perseverance, through courage, and as someone mentioned, the willingness to dream big. Whether your path leads you into public service, journalism, the military, or any other field, you too have the chance to leave a legacy that will inspire generations to come. On behalf of Octorara, I am deeply proud to welcome Mr. Ritchie, Ms. Marusik, and Lieutenant Colonel John Knox into our Hall of Fame. Their lives remind us of the values we cherish: service, justice, courage, and leadership. Congratulations to our inductees, and thank you all for being part of this celebration of what it means to be a brave. What I'd like to do, and I appreciate you don't have to applaud, what I'd like you to do is we're going to dismiss in a very orderly fashion, and I thank you for attending. Folks, we're going to begin with our freshmen. Everyone else remain seated, leaving to the back.